Okay, so our first task is after resetting the password, doing Command Prompt R or Command Key R, Windows Key R as I'm restarting. I have reset the admin passwords for all these users, and double click on a user that I've reset the password for, and I know that user is an admin, and I enter the password that I assigned to him without knowing any previous passwords, getting into the utility. Now he's booting up, or logging in, I mean. And all I want to do is display system information. The easiest way to display system information, the Apple key or the Apple icon in the upper left corner, that's like your system entry into all sorts of system available things. And I click on the Apple, and it's supposed to bring up a little menu here. He's thinking. And in there is going to be About This Mac. There we go. About This Mac is your equivalent of Windows system information. Click on About This Mac, and it's supposed to show me information about the Mac. Now, we are running as a VM, so it's not that great a performance. I don't think I'm running a ton of things on this machine, but we're only doing this for learning purposes, so another reason why it's really not that great a thing to have Mac running under VMware. Although it is legal under a Mac running VMware to have a virtualized Mac. That is perfectly licensed as far as I understand. Now, for some reason, the About This Mac didn't come up. Let me try it again. Click. Click again. There, About This Mac. About This Mac. Try again. And if it does come up, that's what I want to get a screenshot of. Now, I don't know why it's not coming up. There may be another way to do it. It's thinking. I don't know why it's taking so long. All right, while I'm waiting for that to pop up, it should pop up. I'm going to run the disk utility. Now, I can go to the Finder, to the Applications folder, find the disk utility, which is a nice way to find out what else is there. Double click my Finder, and now I'm waiting for Finder to come up. I hope my system isn't messed up. I don't think I've done any updates. You can break it, and I was actually expecting it to break when I tried to update it from 10.14 to Catalina. Seems to be working. There, finally the Finder came up. I go to the Applications folder, double click, and down in the Applications folder there's a Utilities folder, and down in Utilities there is a disk utility. I'm giving up on About This Mac. I'll come back to that. Don't know why it didn't show up. It is quite a load on my system. I don't remember how much memory I gave this one. I think I gave it 8 gig. Down in the Applications folder is what I'm waiting for, and in there I'm going to find the disk utility. Man, he is slow. Maybe it's because all those About This Macs I was starting up. Oh, thank you very much. Mac is trying to connect to FaceTime. That's probably what's sucking up all my CPU. Thank you very much, Apple. I've seen that too on PCs. If you have connected a lot of map network drives, that if they're no longer connected, sometimes you'll see the Finder or the Windows Explorer get really slow, and I finally right-click disconnect all those he's attempting, and it'll speed things up quite a bit. So I don't know why he's wanting to connect to FaceTime. It's probably because it's down there on my dock. What I like to do is clean up the dock as well. Man, he just doesn't like to give up on trying to connect to FaceTime. I thought I had a network connection. I'm pretty sure I do, but he's just, I don't know if there's something else out there wanting to call home, slowing my poor little guy down. So I'll talk you through what you want to do. There's Applications folder, Utilities folder, Disk Utility. That's part number 2. Let me bring that over and I'll skip ahead to the other part here while I'm waiting for my Mac to respond. So number 2, run the Disk Utility. Let's go to the Create a User account here. Unless I can't get away from this later. Come on, later. There, finally got rid of him. And now, oh, he keeps wanting to connect. Let me go. I'm going to right click on my FaceTime here. And I'm going to go to options and remove him from my dock. Let's see if I can get options on him. Right clicking on it. Man, it looks like FaceTime is just somehow tying me up. I don't even remember trying to run FaceTime. But it seems to be wanting to keep starting up. Well, the disk utility isn't showing up here in my applications. I have to scroll down to the utilities folder. There it is. Double click. And inside the utilities folder is a disk utility program. Slowly discovering it. I'm going to bring up my process PC and just see it. Is my PC just loaded down super heavily because I'm running Catalina? It may be the case. Yeah, my Windows is mouse is locked up right now under Windows. I'm not so sure what's going on here. Even my recording has stopped, and I've got the blue screen. What's going on here? Oh, that was what needed to happen. Man. Okay, there's the disk utility. Just double click on the disk utility. And it should pop up. And you can just take a screenshot of your disk utility showing you the items on your system. Anytime you're running a program, just like the Windows taskbar, the dock shows the program bouncing a little bit while it's starting up. And then when it's on the tool, on the dock, you can actually go to the options of that application and have it stay in the dock. Anything that is running will show up in the dock. And it bounces away, and sometimes if it has a notification, it will start bouncing on your dock as well, telling you, yeah, I need some attention. And there is finally the disk utility coming up in my Catalina. And all you need to do is just take a shot of that. Don't worry about browsing through the disk utility. That's all I need a shot of, just to show you found the disk utility and you ran it.
Where can I get the, I want to just try to recopy the VM and see if I can get to run.
It's going to take you an hour.
Okay.
It takes about a half hour to copy over. But I can give you a new copy. Did you erase it or something?
Yeah, I got to remove it. I can get it out of a map drive or something. So if I can just pull it off.
Did you restart it just to see if your mouse came back?
I restarted it a couple times.
And it just keeps freezing your
It would
mouse?
just keep freezing up the corner.
Because it worked perfectly when I installed it. Weird. So even did you start it normally without the control up?
Yeah, but it would be frozen for a long time before I could even restart it from there. It was
So wait a minute. Did you start it normally without trying to break in? Just bring up the login.
Yeah.
Would that come up normally?
It would take a while and it would come up, and then but it was like pretty much frozen for the most part. Like I couldn't really do anything with it.
But because you can log in with the Elliott password is 1234.
Well, it's too late because I got rid of the machine.
Oh, not well. I don't think it's even. It was so big. I don't even think it'll put it in your recycle bin.
Okay.
So you're gonna have to recopy it if you want to use it. Why don't you just follow along Molly's and then just get screenshots from that? Because it's a whole half hour just to copy that huge 100 gigs. Okay, so there's a disk utility. Remember what power you have in the disk utility. There are many other utilities, but when you're looking at your system, formatting the data, this is super important to know where are things on your drives and what formats your drives are in. Does it say? APFS. That's the Apple file system. It's their own special file system. You can format things exFAT, so it's compatible with other things. No guarantee that Apple's exFAT is exactly compatible with Microsoft exFAT. I have found it is, but we don't know if in the future that someone may decide that Microsoft decides to tweak what their definition is. They do that a lot. Okay, so that's the disk utility. The next thing is creating the user accounts. This is something that's, as administrator, you want to know how that's done. And we've been there already in previous ones. I'm going to, oh, there's a system report. There, finally, the About This Mac came up. That's what you get with About This Mac. If you want more details, you can click System Report. But this is the good enough one. It shows me I'm running in virtually 8 gig of RAM. And he thinks he's got a 2 times 3.34 gigahertz processor. System Report would give you more, but you don't have to go view that. So I can close that after getting a screenshot of that. And now we want to create user accounts. We're going to the Mac control panel. Now that I'm administrator, I can go to System Preferences. That's the control panel for the Mac. System Preferences. Has a little gearboxy icon, bounces away. And in there is users and groups, I think. Let's wait for it to pop up. In there, we're just going to create 3 new users and set user 1 as the system administrator. The other 2 are going to be standard users. And while we're in there, we're also going to enable remote login to your system. We could do so much more on a Mac just to give you some good experience with it, but this is enough to give you kind of a overview of it. And having slower system, that gets kind of annoying. I'd rather have some real Macs that are a little quicker at responding. It's taking a while just for the system preferences to come up. I'm in, well, it's starting up system preferences. I can see it on the menu, so I know the system preferences program is running, but it's just taking a while. Now, finally, the GUI comes up. Remember, at the top of the screen is what program is currently running and what its menu is. It's not, the menus are always at the top of the screen under Apple, not inside the main program. And there's my iCloud connection slowing me down again. I don't want to do any update settings. I'm going to go to my main control panel. So I'm going to do the left arrow to go to the top of my control panel. There is the main control panel. Everyone be able to get there? And then users and groups, double click, will take me to the ability to create new users and groups. Under Apple, you have to unlock things as you make changes. So wait till the users and groups hop up. It's probably going to ask to connect to FaceTime again or some crazy thing. I'm going to have to, there's maybe some option that he's wanting to keep connecting to FaceTime. How's it going over there with yours? You able to, is he making progress? Okay, yeah, just look over his shoulder, and then you can just go through the same process, just to make sure you know how to do it. Find the, what's that? Yeah, that's fine. Oh, that's right, you're Mr. Mac. So, yeah, so just, you can just give me a few screenshots, just to make sure. And if make sure Lloyd is doing it right, and then you can give him a few pointers along the way. You can be like the teacher there. Okay. Underneath. Now, there isn't a user access control like Windows does. Under the Mac, when you want to change something, you have to click on the little lock there in the window. So I click the lock, and now it's going to ask me, okay, I've got to give you special permission to this one particular area. So now I'm going to put the password that I had reset it to. And now the little lock opens, and now I'm able to add a user by just clicking the little plus at the bottom of the users. And there's where I give the name of user 1. And I think it will come up with a suggested account name. Yep, it comes up with a suggested account name. I'm going to leave that. And I'm going to give user 1 a password. I'm going to do it the same password beginning all my other users, CS230. I'm not going to give it any hints. It doesn't force me to have a hint, unlike Windows, which is annoying. And I'm going to make this user, after he shows up, I'm going to make him administrator. There's user 1. I click on him, and now I can click the little checkbox, allow the user to administer this computer. One little checkbox makes him a user, like administrator, but he's not really an administrator until I restart, which doesn't matter to me. Taking a screenshot of this is fine, showing me one, or you can wait till you get all 3 done and then take a screenshot. It'll just show that you created the 3 users. Okay? You don't have to take it one at a time. So now user 2, and give him the password. And create. And now user 2 is a standard user, and make the 3rd user. Click the plus, and user tree. After doing it 3 times, you remember all this for a while. Now notice it will allow me to create the user without actually setting a password. See, create user is available. So I'm going to leave user trees a password blank and see if it complains. Hasn't complained yet. And it gives me are you sure you want to do this? I'm going to go ahead and give user, he's a regular user, no password needed for that one. Some systems, if a user doesn't have a password, you can enter at the GUI, but if you try to remote in, that password that user may be blocked. We've seen that with Windows. That if user doesn't have a password assigned, you can't do certain other things. Okay, now I have the 3 users. At this point, you could get a screenshot of that showing you have created the 3 users. And typically, what you do now is click the lock again now to lock this part of the control panel. You can leave it unlocked forever. And then whenever you come, you don't have to unlock the lock. But normal security, you lock it after you're done doing your thing. And I can just do a left arrow to go back to the main control panel now. Let's see, are we done with the main control panel? Let's see, system information, disk utility, user accounts. Remote login. That is a control panel setting. Let's show you how we enable remote login. You come back to here, and I believe it is under sharing. Oh, security and privacy, is it? Sharing? Let's see if it's under security and privacy. I'm looking for screen sharing. There it is, sharing. This is remote login. There we go. Under sharing, I can enable screen sharing. That's what we had for running the VNC into it. It's okay to set up screen sharing. The main thing is I want to allow remote login. Yep. Notice there was no lock to unlock on this page.
So with the remote login, I'm having trouble with PuTTY not letting me type in the password once I get to the command prompt.
Really?
It's weird.
Okay, well I'll try it here, see if it works on this one. Notice I'm going to go ahead and allow access for all users. No reason to only limit that to administrators. You can choose to do that if you want. There's other things that are allowed in sharing. You can actually enable file sharing. You're welcome to turn on these other checks. I'm not asking you to actually connect those and share and do those, but you're welcome to check out what those other things are. You can actually share your CD player and stream music from your Apple to others, or let them actually mount a drive in your system. So lots of capabilities. The main thing is you enable remote login. Another thing with Macs, do you see a save button here? This kind of bothered me for a while. There is no save button. When you make the change, there is not an undo, cancel. There's, okay, I made the change. Sometimes that can be confusing. Now I can go back to my main control panel. And let's see here. Let's go ahead and verify that's working before I do those 5 and 6 items. Let's verify remote login. So back to my Mac. I've enabled remote login. Underneath sharing.
So preferences?
And they're in their system preferences.
It'll open the settings app and then go back. And at the bottom there's a little photo that says sharing.
Now one quick way to check that it's working,
right in the middle.
I can start up a terminal on the system. Do you have the little terminal icon there? If you don't see it, you can find it in your applications folder. Here's a quick way, without even needing another computer, to verify that remote login is working. I can do SSH 127.0.0.1. Everyone recognize from networking what 127.0.0.1 is? There's no place like 127.0.0.1. That's home. That was a geek t-shirt. There's no place like 127.0.0.1. I SSH to that address, and if I get a password prompt, then I say, yes, I want to have that key. I know at this point that remote login is working, and I enter my password. But I haven't really tested it fully. I haven't used PuTTY to connect to my system, but I at least know that I can remote login to home from that computer. So I know it's working. Now let's run PuTTY. All I need to know is my address. There is an ifconfig program under the Mac that shows you your IP address. Or you can go to the your system preferences under network, and network will show you your IP address as well. Most people know about the control panel network. There is under Mac and Linux, it's not called ipconfig, it's called ifconfig to actually see your IP address. 192.168, mine is 192.168.52.136. Let's see if I can make this bigger. I think it messes up the screen recording though. Let's see. Okay. So either ifconfig under the terminal program or network. Now I want to run PuTTY and connect to that address. Yep.
So I'm running into the same problem in both my terminal and my PuTTY where it won't let me type in in terminal it's actually showing me a physical key.
Yep.
Like it's blocked where I can type my password.
All right. Well, I'm going to try mine. I'm running PuTTY. I have to zoom out, I think, to see PuTTY here. Where's PuTTY go? There's PuTTY. I'm going to run PuTTY now to that address of my machine, which is 192.168.52.136. It's default port 22. Now let's see if I have that problem. I'm going to click open on the PuTTY window now. And it's asking me for a key. I know I'm talking to a machine when I get this message. I click yes, accept that key. You should be in your system. Just hit the Windows key, run PuTTY. If you don't, you can download the runnable PuTTY. Logging in as ATM, and the password CS230. And that's what you should get. That's demonstrating to me I have successfully remoted into my system. No, it's a Windows program. PuTTY is a Windows program. SSH is the program I ran under Mac. SSH tells you, well, I can talk to myself. But what boring thing is it? I don't want to just talk to myself. Oh, look, I can enlarge that window. ifconfig shows me my address, and I can SSH to home. Under PuTTY, I now see, yes, PuTTY also works. So a screenshot of that PuTTY demonstrates I have successfully remote logged into my Mac. Yes? Okay. Now, you should all have PuTTY installed. If not, if you hit the Windows key and you can't find PuTTY, let me show you what you can do. PuTTY. I have a PuTTY app installed on my system. Do you not have a PuTTY app installed? That was supposed to be like part of our standard install.
Yeah, it's installed. I don't think it's on ours.
Okay, if you don't have it, then just search on the internet for PuTTY download. And you'll take you to the Qiark website. There is a PuTTY installer or a PuTTY standalone program. The client, you don't have to install it. You can just download the executable. You don't have to be administrator to run this one. So just download the SSH client all by itself, and that PuTTY.exe, you can just run that program, and that will run you a connection without even need to install PuTTY.
Where do you find that?
Internet search, PuTTY download.
We're on that page. Which one is it?
The SSH Telnet client. You see it on the screen?
64-bit version.
It doesn't matter. 64-bit version is the better one. Terminal on the Mac is in the utilities, or you can use the launcher to find it. I'm used to using this launcher and just type the name of my program I'm running. I don't use Spotlight much. Where do you initiate Spotlight?
It's the top right corner, the little magnifying glass.
I never use him. I've just been using the launcher. So yeah, click on the little search and then type terminal, and there it is. And if I hit enter, it'll run my terminal. Now if I want to run, let's see, it just took me to terminal. It didn't start a new terminal. Okay. Now you can always go back and watch the video. I want to get you to, we're running out of time. Oh, not quite out of time yet. We got some more time. I'd like to get to that installing software part. Unless anyone stuck on something that I can give you some quick pointers. Help each other out when you can. Jonah is a rich source of help over here. He's Mr. Mac expert. Jacob is as well. Okay. Yeah, so either ifconfig under the terminal or under the network settings and control panel, you can see what your IP address is. And I'll zoom in on that for you there. Let's see. Underneath networking settings in the system preferences, it'll show you your network address. Nice thing about this, while we're here in the network part, since a lot of you are in networking, and this is very important for getting your Mac to talk to the internet, underneath advanced, there's some really nice things in here. I can do a renew my DHCP in case I've just reconnected it to another network or I've reset my router because I was having a problem. This is very useful to do. It's like the release and renew process on a PC where you release your IP address, renew it. Usually you get the same one back unless you are on a new network. If you're not getting a 192 address, there's some problem with your DHCP server. Remember, since I'm on the host-only network, I'm getting a address provided to me by the VMware DHCP server because I'm behind the NAT firewall. If I were bridging my VM, then I would be getting a 172.10 or 172.16 address from the local network router. So that all has to do with my network connection. So advanced is a very useful thing, and I can even find out my MAC address going to the hardware section. There's my Mac's Mac. Okay, and I can always then go back to the main. Oh, I have to close this, and I can go to the main system preferences. So if you're in a Mac, helping someone with a Mac, system preferences is where all the power is. Now, let's get to install that software, and then we can spend some time troubleshooting anything you're having trouble with. The next thing we want to do here, what's on our list? Let's see, we've logged in, we got remote login.
Installing it on my desktop.
Yeah, we got to find, and there's two ways to install. Often you get programs that are there in the Mac store. That's usually the easiest way to install software. Sometimes software is not in the Mac store, and they provide you an installation disk, and that's what this BB Edit is for. Yep.
If you go to the Mac store, you have to log into your Apple ID on your VM.
Oh, really? Maybe I didn't see that because I was already logged in. That's a pain. Well, but it is free to establish a Mac.
I just did that.
That's right. Let's see if I can at least show you that installing from the Mac store. If you don't want to get a Mac ID, they are free. They don't need a credit card or anything from you, do they?
I don't think so.
I thought they wanted your credit card ID to.
I think they want that once you start setting up IDs.
Let's just show the process. This is one thing that's very annoying about the Mac. If you go to the store and install a piece of software using like your friend's email address because he has one and you didn't want to create your own, if you ever need an update to that program, guess who needs to log in to update that program? the person who installed it, which is really a pain because we had Mr. Hedman installed some software on some of our iMacs, and I'll go to update, or it's telling me I need updates. Oh, give me Brett Hedman's Apple ID. As far as I know, the only option is to uninstall the program completely and reinstall it as the other user if you want to have any power, even though I'm an administrator. So I'm going to search for a Microsoft Remote Desktop. And there I see it's showing up in the search results. And to install it, I just click on that and click on the little download from the cloud. Let's see if it makes me log in. Am I already logged in? It didn't ask me about logging in. So let's see if that works for you. Find Microsoft Remote Desktop. See if it makes you establish a username. I didn't do any logins, and it seems to let me run it. Now let's do open, and let's see. Yes. No, I don't want to help. I don't help from them. Continue. Allow. Allow. And now I know desktop or remote Microsoft Remote Desktop is installed. I'm going to allow it to give me my. Do I want alerts? No, I don't want alerts. Now to connect to that PC, this is where I click Add PC. And I could connect to any PC on my network, except I don't have any PCs right now to connect to. So I'm not going to worry about adding that PC. I just know that my Microsoft Remote Desktop is installed from the store. Screenshot of that is all you need. Just to know that Microsoft Remote Desktop is installed and running. Notice here it does show a little bit of a menu at the top here of the window, but there's always this menu at the top that Mac programs, they take over your menu whenever they're running. Watch, when I click on the other program, it takes over the toolbar. So I'm going to close the store now and get software in a different manner. The two main ways to install software: the store or through the website. Now this one I'm going to go look for BBEdit from a website, and I'm going to download the installation package. Oh, and this is the first time I'm running Chrome, so it gives me this little warning. I'm happy to open it. And I don't want to see any notifications from Google. Go away. Now I just do a search for BBEdit. It used to be Text Wrangler. It's like Notepad++ for the Mac. So there's BBEdit. I'm searching for it. And let's download it and see if it recognizes that I'm on a Mac. Yes. Download the disk image. Oh, it looks like I could have gone to the store to get it. But I want to show you, I want you to go through the process of installing software from the disk image. There's many packages download in that manner rather than right from the store, because they have to pay money to be in the store, and I don't want to have to pay money. I want open source. It's a very small program, so OpenOffice, I'm not sure if OpenOffice is in the store. I bet you that has an image. DMG is the extension for Mac disk images for installation. Just double click on that and it'll open that. Okay, now before I run the install, let me check my Finder here and show you. Let's see, I'm going to bring up a new Finder window. When I have a disk image and I'm mounting it, it actually appears as though it were a disk. See this on the left side? It appears as a disk, almost like a removable disk. Oh, a virtual removable disk. If I click on that, it's like I'm ejecting that disk. So a DMG file, if it's all configured properly, it will appear as a disk. And if I have multiple DMGs, I can see, it'll look like I have a ton of removable disk in my system. Once I'm done with it, I can always eject it when I'm done. Watch how we install applications from the DMG. Sometimes you'll see a little box that you have to click on to do the install. Oftentimes, all you got to do is click and drag from that icon to your applications folder. That's it. That did the install. Dragging it to your applications folder does the install. And sometimes when you do that, it will ask you some questions about the software. BBEdit is simple enough, it doesn't ask anything. I can now close that. I can even eject that disk image. The file is still there in my downloads. And even the file itself has an icon of looking like a disk. Now, to run the BBEdit program, let's go look in my applications folder. And there it is now. That's it. It got dragged to my applications folder. Double clicking will now start the program. First time you open a program, it always gives you this little warning. From now on, it won't warn you every time you start it. But the first time you download something from the internet, it'll give you that little caution, are you sure? And now there's my BBEdit. No, I'm not going to enter a license. Now I have a very nice editor, a little better than the standard text editor on the Mac. A shot of that or the installation disk is fine. If you have this in your screenshot, or actually, I'm going to double click on that file in my downloads again. Having this in your screenshot, that's fine. You don't have to show me the screenshot of your program running. This tells me you've downloaded the DMG file. And with that, let's see, have we missed anything? Oh yes, one more thing, I forgot. I'm running the BBEdit program now. And see how it shows up in my dock at the bottom? If I want that to be always appearing in my dock, I can right click on that, Options, Keep in Dock. That's like pinned to taskbar under Windows. Now it will be there even if it's not running. I'm going to get rid of FaceTime now, see if I can right click, Options, Remove from Dock. There's probably something about FaceTime that it's automatically starting that I want to kill because that was really slowing me down at the start. Anything here, if I want to remove, just right click, Options, Remove. If you have a program running, you can right click, Options, Keep in Dock.
You can also just like drag and drop.
Yeah.
Do that. So you like.
So if I'll show you just what Jonah was saying. I'm going to kill that window, and I bring in my Finder up. If I have a program over at Applications that I want to keep on my dock, let's say I'm a chess enthusiast. Click and drag it. Oops. Where'd it go again? Click it. And let's see if I can drag it to the dock. Now it stays on my dock. And I can move it around in locations of my dock. We have seen that the chess game does not like to quit. It just so much loves to play chess with us, it won't leave. Something dangerous, if you see the suggestion of an update, or here's complaining about my Apple ID. If you see updates, be very cautious, because I have seen virtual machines, since it's really not, remember how we kind of had to hack VMware a little bit to get it to run? There's a chance that if you do an update to the Mac software, it may stop working. So when I did my initial update to Catalina, I made sure that was a copy of the original just to see if it would work. I'm pretty happy that it worked. At this point, let's see, have we had everything? System, looks like we have everything done that I wanted you to do on your Mac. If you have all those screenshots, then you're done with this particular part and you can explore your Mac the rest of the time. I'm going to stop the recording and help you troubleshoot any issues you're having.